Hi, I'm Ed.
And I'm Paul.
Welcome to the Ground and Pound Show. Today's subject is something I think we'll all enjoy. It's called Suicide for Dummies. Okay, rule number one. You need to make sure that you're going... If you want to do this privately, you want to have fun while you're doing it, and you want it to be painless, okay? This is what you need to do. Rule number one is make sure you're alone. Check the house, check the closets, check the garage. Make sure nobody's around. Keep the doors locked. You don't want a neighbor just popping or a friend just popping in on you, right? You need to make sure that if there is anyone going to come home, they're going to be gone for at the very least 8 hours. Preferably 8 to 12 hours. Because you don't want them to catch you in the act of dying, so then they might save you, and therefore you become one of those fucked up suicide losers who end up in a hospital with their families going, "Oh my God, why didn't you talk to me?" Or being pissed off at you. "How could you possibly do this to us? Leave all this damage behind." Do you know what kind of fucking psychic pain you're going through? No, that's because people who are the victims left behind of suicide are just fucking selfish. They don't know what kind of pain you're in. How do they know? Maybe I don't want therapy. Maybe I just want to be dead.
Yeah, this is true.
I mean, Jesus Christ, everybody's got their limit as to how much of life they're willing to deal with. And I get it, all right? So I'm going to show you something. Like I said, this is Suicide for Dummies. I'm not encouraging it, but I'm just giving you a way to do it. It's simple, it's pretty much legal, and it's painless, and it's awesome. It's just, in my opinion, it's the best way to do it. Okay, aside from being alone for 8 to 10 hours, and you really don't want to get caught at all, rent yourself a hotel room, a nice one. You may as well, because... you may as well enjoy some room service, a nice meal, a nice bubble bath, because, before you check out completely. And you don't have to pay the bill anyway, so what the fuck difference does it make? Go to the plaza. Jesus Christ. Suggestions for what you should use to commit suicide. I like methaqualone or Quaaludes. I used to get them from Mexico, way back when, and you probably still can. If you don't have access to that, I suggest oxycodone, OxyContin, hydrocodone, oxycodone. Any of them will do the job, as long as you have yourself a bottle of bourbon and a tumbler of ice. You'll be fine. Okay, the first thing is, see, you take 2, pour yourself a nice stiff one. I don't want to get too fucked up on camera. I might commit suicide. God, what the goddamn fuck. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Calm down. That's the last thank you you're ever going to hear from me. I'll be gone soon. Okay. See what I just did? I took 2 with a drink. Okay? That's the problem all you idiots make. You take a whole freaking bottle at one time. You know what's going to happen? You know what happens half the time? You will end up puking it out, or somebody comes home because you didn't follow rule number 1. When you have a set of rules, rule number 1 is usually the most important one. And in Suicide for Dummies, you got to remember rule number 1. Make sure you're alone for 8 to 12 hours. Because if you think about it, the way the demonstration I'm giving you is for a painless suicide. Painless and foolproof. Foolproof suicide means it's completed. It's not an attempted. It's not an attempt. You're not making an attempt. You're trying to make a success. Like anything else in life. You want to attempt something. You want to succeed at something. Jesus Christ. So like I said, you take 2 with some bourbon. Fucking smooth. Okay. Now don't cheap out now with your liquor. Buy whatever the fuck you want. You want Crown Royal? You want fucking Johnny Walker Blue label, green label, go for it. Spend $400 on a bottle. Who gives a shit? You're not going to pay for the bill anyway when the credit card bill comes in. What do you care? Let somebody else pay it. Jesus. And you know something else you should do? You should really go to the bank, get every dime you have, wear all your jewelry right after you take those first 2 pills. Actually, before you take your pills and everything, make sure you went to the bank. You have like 10 grand in your pockets. Put every piece of jewelry you have on. So that way when somebody finds your dead body, they're going to be even more baffled. Like, look at all the stuff he had. Why would he kill himself? Why didn't he come talk to me? Oh, you know, he could have had therapy and he would have been able to live a wonderful life and with the right medication. You know something? Like I said, everybody's got their limit. Not everybody wants to be in therapy for 50 fucking years. Not everybody wants to take antidepressants. You know, sometimes enough is enough. That's all, that's all there is to it. So, after you take your first 2 pills and your drink, about an hour later, you're going to start feeling really fucked up. Really fucked up. Okay? But before you start stumbling around and taking a chance of injuring yourself and then laying there with an injury, unable to complete your suicide, that's what you're there for. Why do you think you spent $800 a night on a hotel room? Not that you're actually not spending, but that's something else. I'd say, like I said, about an hour later, before you get too fucked up, that's when you take another 2. Okay? So this way, the first 2 have already started metabolizing in your system. So therefore, even if you were caught, but you're positive you're not going to be caught because you followed rule 1. Before you start you take the next 2. Then, wait another half hour, 45 minutes. By then, you should be stumbling around. That's when it's time for another drink. And you know what else it's time for? Another pill. And you know what this reminds me of? Reminds me of a Doors song. Before I slip into unconsciousness, I'd like another little kiss. But you know something? I don't give a fuck about a kiss. If you guys all kissed me while I was here, maybe I wouldn't want to kill myself. So, fuck you to all you people who know me. So, you know something? Unless you're Iron Man, after all this stuff, after 2 hours, you should just be losing consciousness by this point. Once you lose consciousness, soon after, respiratory failure is going to come about. As soon as that happens, your heart goes. Okay? Well, there's so much shit. I mean, I'm sorry, I have to look at notes. It's ridiculous. And you're out anyway. You know, you're completely out. You're laying on the fucking floor, probably in a pile of puke or something. But all this shit is metabolized in your system between the fucking liquor and the pills. You're fucking done. So by the time you have a heart attack or a stroke or you fucking like seize up or whatever, you don't know what the hell's going on. So what do you give a shit? And if you want to do it really nice and clean, you have to understand that the same goes for suicide as anything else in life. It takes careful, serious planning. I know I've said this before, but I cannot stress this point enough. A successful suicide is no different than a successful career. You have to work hard at it. You have to plan it. You have to give it your all.
Just like what we're doing.
That's right. I'm trying to give it my all. I'm trying to help the world. Like I said, I'm not encouraging suicide. I'm just trying to tell all you people who are going to commit suicide and want to make sure that you do it right. Do it right. That's why I keep on saying these things over and over again. I needed to pound it through your heads. If you're going to kill yourself, kill yourself. Don't end up in a hospital, for Christ's sake, on life support, or you wind up sitting there or staring all around like in some fucking veggie state, for Christ's sake. You know something? And even if someone does come and find you after all this, after all that you've done all this, you're laying on the floor, you've been laying there for like 6 hours, 7 hours, they break in the door, what do you know, motherfuckers? Sorry, too late. You missed your chance because you didn't pay attention to me while I was alive. Either that or I just decided that I couldn't take any more of you or this world anymore. I just couldn't take it. So, I'm sorry, very sorry, but I'm dead. And plus, bonus, you get really fucked up. And the minus is you can only do it once. But then, there's a third thing. There is an upside to it. Anybody could do it. Anybody can do it. And you don't need to do it with freaking pills. You don't need to do it with pills. Do you have a kitchen at home? Go and open all the drawers. I'm sure you'll find a sharp knife. And if you do, make sure if you're going to cut your wrists, don't do it like the people do in movies. You don't cut them across like this. You cut from down, up on a diagonal. And you got to cut deep because you want to get an artery. You don't want to just cut veins because then you'll just be like, take you forever to bleed out and you're sitting there passing out. And then there's a chance you're going to fucking fall down and smash your head. And that's going to hurt way more than you going like this with a razor blade, trust me. And if you're really, 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 really into cutting yourself to death, both wrists, and if you have the time, if you have still have the strength, once again, planning comes into play. Memorize or look up on Google where your pulmonary and your carotid arteries are in your neck. Just give them a little cut. That's all you'll need. Between the wrists and that, you'll be out within 30 seconds. And there is Suicide for Dummies, everyone. Thank you so much for this very important, very interesting comedy documentary.
Yes, it was very interesting and very informative.
Wasn't it informative? I'll bet you anything.
Yes, it was definitely informative.
I'll bet you anything. None of you will ever look at suicide the same. And for all you people out there who are definitely going to commit suicide, thumbs up, Godspeed, good luck. Thank you for watching. I'm Ed.
And I'm Paul.
And we'll see you later.